Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
If they're both together, I'll have to really
I will call the
think.
Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. And of course, the first item on our agenda is to review our public hearing that was held last night. And we only had one person to speak, and that was Mr. James Manning, representing the Oakland's Historic Museum. And he commented that the Oakland's Museum had received $10,000 in funding from the county as an outside agency up to the year of 2004-2005. That funding was eliminated after that fiscal year. And he advised that an application for funds was submitted for this 2010-2011 budget, but that funding had not been approved. He did remind the committee that their education program was growing, tourism was steady, and he was, of course, requesting that we reconsider and restore that $10,000 request. No other citizens in attendance made comments, so that was a very short public hearing last night. Comments from the committee?
I move to put Oakland's $10,000 back in.
We have a motion to restore that $10,000.
I'll second.
Seconded from Commissioner Jernigan. Discussion.
Well, I'm going to disagree. Not anything at all against Oakland, but we told all the different organizations out there where we're not accepting new requests this year, and to come in at the 11th hour and give it to them. No offense to Oakland's, but it was mentioned in the paper today, Sam Davis Home. There's literally dozens. And I think if we were going to open the door, we'd have to open it for all. And we might all review our policy on not accepting new applications for next year, but or if we could at this point in time open it up for all of them, which is pretty late in the game to do that. But I just don't think it's fair to tell all the organizations.
Do we need to go through a bit of the history of we did try to
know
look
the
back,
history.
just for the audience,
well, I know
so they will know.
Up until that year we did, but we have said the last several years
exactly.
that
we're not adding any new
ones, and then that's going against our policy, which everybody else has had to follow just the same. And I would, $10,000 will never be missed in the county budget. I wouldn't bother me a bit to give them that much or more, but it's just not an even playing field with the others who did not apply, and that's why I can't support it.
Well, 2004, an awful lot were cut out that year, and they haven't been instituted.
What I've given you is the budget summary of recommended contributions for 03-04, and then in the pencil beside you is how they got changed to half, and then 05-06 they were eliminated. The ones that are circled are the ones that the committee has recommended stay in. So it's on both sides. You've got, it was some nonprofits, and then you had the ones for the ones that's under 58-110, that was more of the tourism type things that we did.
But the rest of this list are all still out.
They're out. Right. The only things that are circled are the ones that have remained.
Well, some of this stuff was one time anyway, so.
Well, the Uncle Dave Macon Day, Sam Davis Home, Main Street, Old Timers Day, Discovery House.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do. Yeah, that's right. That one did come back. Sorry.
Where's Sam Davis on here?
It's on the
Back page, about 4 up.
Oh, I see.
When did Main Street come back?
A couple of years ago.
And at how much should we give them this year?
15. For
Madam
that.
Chairman, I amend mine to add Sam Davis.
Okay, Commissioner Bullen is adding Oakland and Sam Davis to your motion.
Yes,
is that what you wanted? And your second, Commissioner Jernigan, do you still agree with that?
No, ma'am, I don't.
All right, I'll pull the Sam Davis off then and do it separate.
If you're going to do it,
All right.
I'd do them separate.
Any further discussion relative to Commissioner Bullen's motion to restore the $10,000 funding to Oakland's museum? Any further discussion? Commissioner P.
I'd like to be able to give them 10,000, but I'm kind of like Will. I think we're a little late in it. and not giving these other people opportunity to come up and talk about it too. You know, one thing I will say, he came and asked, these other guys haven't, so I mean, that's part of it, you know, ask, and you don't ask, you're not gonna get for sure. But I mean, it's something I definitely look at hard next year.
Commissioner Schaefer?
I just have a question. I know some organizations, I guess I'm just wanting to find out from the mayor if they all do, that request monies come with some kind of little packet that says their reasoning and what good they do for the community and this type thing, or do they?
No, it's a
Yes, they do.
an application.
They submit a pretty good document that supports what their request is.
I remember being on budget in '04 and '05, and we I think probably Commissioner Bullen was the chairman, I think, at that time. I'm not for sure, maybe not. But we, as you can tell here, we cut most of these in half, and that was the request that was given, like, and all these right here, they were basically cut in half. And then the next year, we cut actually the donations down to the a few, and I don't even remember an application. That's been so long ago, though. I mean, it might have been an application, but all these organizations were told at that time then which ones we were going to take forward and keep going on forward with them. And so, you know, I don't know if they've even sent in an application any other time, but I think next year, if they want other organizations and everybody wants to put in applications, and let's, you know, everybody reapplicate and put in, and we go through it on a one-by-one basis again and look at them and see what they're doing. They're all good organizations and doing something good in the community everywhere. But it's just like any other organization or business or whatever. You've just got to say no sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of good works out there that people are doing and communities are doing, but you got to kind of draw a line in the sand somewhere, and we did that. So, but it might be an opportunity, I think, next year to come back and reapply, and then we go through each and every one of them and see what we can do.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Well, I'm looking at it like Mr. Bullen, in one way, this organization here took their time to come to the public hearing, express their concern and all, and asked. I didn't see nobody else up here.
Any further discussion to the motion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bullen?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
No.
Commissioner P?
No.
Commissioner Stanley?
No.
Commissioner Schaefer?
No.
Commissioner Ely?
No.
Does that mean we win?
No.
He brought it up.
Any further comments about the public hearing last night?
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
I like very much what Ms. Nolan presented, especially about the building that's gone on in this county since 1995. I mean, well, I was going to say
Forgot one.
Huh?
I forgot one.
You want to say it now?
The Smyrna
You can.
edition.
Okay.
The Smyrna
Health Department.
Not the,
The clerk
county
building.
clerk building.
The county clerk
The
building.
county clerk building.
Well, we
And
could do the
addition
health.
to the Smyrna Health
We
Department.
could do
That's
that.
an addition, renovation. Yeah.
Christie used to.
But-
We didn't pay for that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I got
But
you.
that shows that we've done it, the whole county. If you looked at those schools and everything else that's done, it's been countywide. So, you know, and we can
It's
still keep,
phenomenal how
yeah,
much
and we can
this
still
county's
keep our head
done.
above water.
Still not sure they might
You said
do it.
800,000. Tell it.
Okay, gentlemen, any other discussion about the public hearing?
I want to make one
Mayor
comment.
Burgess?
All that list of projects that she put up there that we had built, Ms. Nolan says that she thinks that's something in excess of $800 million capital money that we've spent since, I believe you said 1995.
That's what's on the books right now.
That's what's on the book. And gentlemen, you know, we talk a lot about how much debt we have, $361 million. We paid off more than half of those capital expenditures that you have made, the county has made since 1995. I think that's remarkable.
Yes.
Well, that's one thing we did, instead of going to 30-year notes, and, you know, we came up with 15, but we stayed with the 20-year notes where we could, and I'm glad we have.
Can I ask, of that 800 million in the capital project, how much has the state given us for this project?
For capital.
They would say through the BEP
Okay.
formula that they have provided funding.
Let me say, in a practical sense, nothing has come through that capital component that we've been able to use for capital.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Not just a good answer, it's a true answer.
It's true.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, let's move to item 2 on our agenda, please. And our finance director will give us a review of our proposed 2010-2011 budget and review some necessary, or remind us of some changes that we have made.
Really, the page 1 is a summary page that gets changed, but if you go to page 2, the things that are highlighted in the summary, these are the things that we haven't brought to you. Actually, one of them, the $24,000, that what we had our last budget meeting talking about, the Sheriff's Department receiving that grant that they were recognizing that came in this year that they're not going to spend. We're putting that into next year's budget so they don't have to come back in and ask in August to have it reinstated. Same with the $700 for the local health department. They've received some money for training that they won't be using this year, but wanted to use it next year. The other last adjustment was to the GIS. Their health insurance changed also for the $3,560. So those are the only 3 items that changed on the appropriations. On page 3, on the solid waste fund, I changed my estimate back on what I think that we'll start with on the estimated assigned fund balance. If you remember, with the flood, we thought all this stuff that we were going to have to spend, and I adjusted that based on these things that we thought we were going to spend that we're not spending. So I adjusted it back up. So that's the only thing. I didn't change anything as far as the appropriation, just our estimate. And then on the highway fund on page 8 is a change. And we reduced the highway department's contribution for the OJI. Reduced it $85,000. And then 13 is just the reflection of all the changes.
Reduction there for.
They still had the same contribution that we had for workers' comp, but with the OJI program, it doesn't have to be as high as what it was under workers' comp. So we were making that change to. It was in all the other budgets, but didn't make it to the highway department. So we fixed theirs.
Any questions or comments from Mrs. Nolan?
What's the, flick over there? Estimated ending fund balance on the schools. 8.2.
8.2.
And they're required 7.7? Okay.
It's not a whole lot of wiggle room, is it? Compared to what we've seen in the past. That's what I'm saying.
It tends to come in higher, but that's still
Yeah, it
getting
tends
pretty
to
Well,
come
close.
in
hope it
You
comes
can't
in
bank on it,
higher.
though.
Yeah.
The other thing, we've trended for 2 months higher on our sales tax. So, I'm kind of hoping that maybe my estimate might be low. Guess I look at it, if I'm being conservative on the sales tax, that if it becomes a better, then that just means that we won't be using as much fund balance.
But it hasn't made any major changes yet.
No.
It's just small incremental changes. I think her numbers, her conservative numbers, we need to stay with them
I do
right
too.
now.
I do too. And it will just hopefully end up better.
Now, this thing was in the packet. We've already done these.
No,
we're gonna
no, we're
modify
going to come
that.
back to that.
Okay. We did look at that.
We
We
did.
did, but
We're going to come back.
Okay.
They're gonna make you feel better about it.
All right.
Anything else we need to discuss with this review? We don't need to take any kind of action because it's already
I guess.
done.
I guess
Do we-
recommend that,
do-
I
do
mean,
we need-
approve those changes that we
Do
just
we need
talked.
to do that? Okay. I do need to have a motion to approve those changes.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Jordan. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bullen,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Okay, and we do have a solid waste sanitation fund budget amendment. Mrs. Nolan?
Yes, if you remember the one at our last regularly scheduled meeting that we presented a pretty hefty budget amendment for the solid waste. And the mayor had said then that we didn't think we'd spend anywhere near that, but that was, the amendment was based on the estimates that we thought we were dealing with earlier in the month. So the bills are in. And this is the only amendment that we would need. This will undo the one that you did before. This replaces
The
the
$290,000.
290,000 with 25.
So we just saved 265,000.
That's why I say it reflected it back into the beginning balances.
We went ahead and put it back in the ending fund balance.
Second.
And you're doing that really fast, huh, Commissioner P and Commissioner Sandlin?
Let's not let it.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Discussion, Commissioner Schaefer.
They were thinking that, but I mean, you know. we-
Yes, they-
We're just confirming it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and at the time that we had our meeting, we really didn't have the
Yeah.
bills in, so.
We will be able to get some of this back from, isn't it 87.5% hopefully back from FEMA
Between
and
FEMA
the
and the
state?
state.
State? Okay. That's good. See, we saved them money too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bullen,
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Sandlin,
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ely.
Yes. Is there any other business? Mayor Burgess, do you have anything else? Mrs. Nolan?
No, ma'am.
Okay, our next meeting is June 23rd, and of course, we will approve the tax levy resolution and approve the appropriation resolution. June 23, 5:30. That is next Wednesday, yes. Okay, if there is no further business, we are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.